Hello and a very warm welcome to you all. I am Vikas Nangia with another episode of Focus Live. Last week, celebrations broke out across India after the Supreme Court's verdict on Section 377. Activists and LGBT community welcomed a verdict that affirmed their rights as citizens. Tonight on Focus Live with our panelists Joshua Patel and Hariqbal Basi, we discuss Section 377, Right to Equality for LGBT communities. Joshua Patel serves as the manager of annual giving to the American India Foundation, AIF, in New York. Serving as an advocate for LGBTQ rights, Josh has devoted his career to raising awareness on poverty, discrimination, and equal justice. Our second guest, Hariqbal Basi, is a New York-based attorney. Joshua and Hariqbal, welcome to Focus Live. Thank you so much for being part of this program. And indeed, Section 377 is something that we wanted to create awareness, educate our community, because many of them do not understand in its entirety. But it's a matter of interest. It's a matter of something what people, somebody who wants to know. It will be good that if you guys can give them some insight. So, in the very beginning, I want to ask you, what's your reaction when you heard about Supreme Court's verdict on Section 377?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having us. I didn't have one emotion. Honestly, I was just filled with. It was a mixture of relief, mixture of joy. It was really just the most rewarding feeling I felt in this journey. Previous to working for equal rights in India, I've done marriage equality work, Hariqbal as well, here in the U.S. So to get this news, we were all jumping for joy. And I don't know if you want to add to that.
No, Hariqbal, go ahead.
I would just add that it was a huge relief, and when we've seen what's happened with the gay rights movement or the equal rights movement globally in the last decade or so, it was I guess more than a relief. There was cause for celebration to see a country that identified with so strongly culturally and what is the country that my parents immigrated from, to see them provide their citizens with this just equal. To provide their citizens with equal treatment for, this is affecting tens and millions of Indian citizens. It was just really a sense of both pride and relief.
Yeah, understandable. Ladies and gentlemen, the studio lines are now open. The number to call us here in the studio is 732-650-1100. Tonight on Focus Live, we are talking about LGBT equal rights, as well as more so our focus is on Section 377, the Supreme Court's verdict that came out last week. I'm discussing with Joshua Patel and Hariqbal Basi. So let me ask Josh and Hariqbal that when the verdict came out, of course, there was a sense of pride, there was a sense of relief, as you both mentioned. I know, Joshua, you especially are well connected with certain individuals back home in India. Did you connect with them, and what was their reaction? What did they tell you? What were their emotions like? Give us some insight on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So back in March, Hariqbal and I and many others decided to put together a fundraiser to benefit the Laksha Trust back in India, and we raised over $10,000, which isn't a huge amount, but it was the first ever fundraiser in the U.S. to benefit the LGBT community in India. And after having several conversations with Prince Manvendra Singh Gohil, the very proud, open gay prince in Gujarat, he had, really given me all the resources I need to really pitch and market Laksha Trust. So when I had connected with him recently, he was very busy. He was talking on all different media channels, but he wrote to me a very sweet WhatsApp message just about how we couldn't have come this far without supporters across the world. So.
Right. All right. We've got some callers calling in. Let's get their reaction and let you folks have interaction with the callers, with our viewers. Yes, you're live on air. Who's this, and where are you calling us from?
Hello.
Yes. Focus Live में आपका स्वागत है. Who's this? Where are you calling us from?
I'm Hari Bindal calling from Washington DC.
Hari Bindalji, welcome to Focus Live. Sir, we've got Hariqbal Basi and Joshua Patel in the studio. What's your question for them?
Yeah, I'm listening to that. Actually, my question is, if this is the freedom for same sex, same gender sex, then
Yes, sir.
how about it is an abnormality? How about if somebody start asking for another abnormality, having
Right.
sex with animal or anything else?
Right. So this is your viewpoint, and I guess I'll let Hariqbal and Joshua react to this, because I guess this is a very, very common question, which was, a matter of concern for so many years from the British era itself. This is a constant conversation that it is abnormal. People have not considered it normal, and that's where it was a sense of pride and relief for individuals who are facing a scenario, who were facing a scenario like this for several decades. But Joshua, would you like to react to that question of Mr. Bindal?
Yeah, sure. I'll start. So yeah, what is Section 377? It's an archaic law that was brought by the British. Before that, there was no definition of what sexuality is, or rules that define that or constrict that. But basically, it was a law that said anything that went against the order of nature. And when Section 37 was overturned, you had the Supreme Court apologize on behalf of history, because there is nothing unnatural about two people of the same gender having sexual relations. So, in terms of your question, in terms of approving an abnormality and then requesting more abnormalities, I can't answer that, because there's nothing abnormal in my eyes with two people consenting in a natural way. So,
Hariqbal?
I would echo Josh's sentiments and say that this isn't. I think one of the exact language the court used eludes me right now, but they did make it a point, which was one of my favorite aspects of the decision, to say that this is within the normal range, within the natural range of human sexuality and behavior. I think a key difference with the question that was just asked with respect to where is the line drawn with
Where you draw the line,
abnormal sexual behavior. So to echo Josh, I too say that there's nothing abnormal about this behavior. It is within the normal realm of human sexuality that is widely agreed to by scientists and experts in the field. I would also go and say that there's a big difference between two consenting adults entering into sexual relations or a marriage contract, etc. And there's a big difference between that and adults entering into sexual relations with an animal or a child or someone who does not have the capability of consenting. So I think that a line in behavior can be drawn there, is that when two consenting adults do something, that is a separate situation that we're talking about.
Mr. Bindal, thank you so much for your question. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a short commercial break. We'll be right after these messages. And after the break, we'll continue our conversation with Hariqbal and Joshua. And of course, we'll take your phone calls as well. And we'll continue the conversation on the agenda today on LGBT equal rights and Section 377. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
अभी तक एक सब्जेक्ट में अटका हुआ है। अरे कुछ तो शर्म कर।
अगर तू व्हाइट शर्ट पहनेगा तो पास हो जाएगा।
तब तो चड्डी बनियान पैंट शर्ट सब सफेद पहन के जाना पड़ेगा। बस खाली आंसर शीट व्हाइट मत छोड़ देना।
Never miss a moment of the battle, the challenge, the fight for supremacy. Unimoney Asia Cup starts 15 September exclusively on Hotstar.
My ma gifted me elegance, and my pa passed on his passion for hard work. I inherited their strength to walk my own path, my pashmina business. It can be hard, but they always held my hand.
For over 165 years, Mask Mutual has provided the protection to make those steps a little easier.
My parents made me who I am. Now I can pass on their gifts to others.
Attention investors. National Realty announces its $200 million property portfolio gold mine. It's prime Waterview property at 75% off market value. with over $150 million in equity protection. Prime property in Delray Beach, Florida, New York City, Hoboken, New Jersey, and Philadelphia backs you with 20% returns and 100% of resale cash flows. Paid to investors first. Call about our guaranteed EB5 U.S. Visa program from investing. 201-210-2727. 201-210-2727.
1947 and 27th Investment presents the biggest 5 days Ganesh Festival, starting September 13th to 17th. Come see the new avatar. Enjoy the Sthapana, Maha-Aartis daily, the authentic foods, shopping and the Visarjan ceremony. Only at Ganesha Festival, Woodbridge Center Mall, Woodbridge, New Jersey.
To highlight diabetes epidemic in the South Asian community, SKN Foundation is hosting its annual gala on September 28 at the Marigold, Somerset, New Jersey. Special guests for the evening include celebrity chef Vikas Khanna, along with Indy car series driver Charlie Kimball, and celebrity host Indian actress and fashion designer Mandira Bedi. Since 2009, SKN Foundation, a not-for-profit organization, has been promoting total wellness of the person and community through education. Tickets start at $175 and can be purchased at sknfoundation.org.
ब्रेक के बाद फोकस लाइव में आप सभी दर्शकों का एक बार फिर से बहुत बहुत स्वागत। आज हम फोकस लाइव में LGBTQ इक्वल राइट्स के बारे में बातचीत कर रहे हैं और पिछले सप्ताह भारतीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट के वर्डिक्ट सेक्शन 377 पर बातचीत हो रही है। स्टूडियो में हमारे खास मेहमान हैं न्यूयॉर्क बेस्ड एक्टिविस्ट जाशुआ पटेल और हमारे दूसरे गेस्ट हैं न्यूयॉर्क बेस्ड अटर्नी हरिकबाल बासी। Guys, welcome to Focus Live. Since Focus Live is all about taking live phone calls, there are a number of phone calls. There are people waiting there to interact with you. We'll start taking their calls and we'll take the conversation forward. Yes, you're live on Focus Live. Who's this and where are you calling us from?
They will call my name and number.
No, madam, number nahi chahiye. We just need your name and where are you calling us from?
I couldn't hear you. So
Yeah, I don't need your
louder, please.
Yeah, I don't need your number. All I need is your name and where are you calling us from? Which city, which state are you calling?
Right, thank you. I'm from New York. My name is Satya Sodhi.
Madam Satya Sodhi. Okay, what's your question, ma'am?
I want to know what Mr. Patel did with himself, not with this the friend or whatever he is on that. But whatever he did by himself, tell me, I'm 83 years old. I just want to know what he did and what he does not do that, and he is capable to do it.
Okay. All right. Madam Sori, thank you so much for your call. Joshua, I understand sometimes it's difficult for elders to accept, and that's why it becomes very challenging for individuals like you to come out of closet and express their heart and emotion. How would you react and what would you say to individuals like Madam Satya Sori?
So I'm really pleased to share a beautiful story. One of the photos I should have given you is actually my grandmother and Prince Maninder Singh Gohil. So coming out, there were a lot of people talking, and my parents, despite being out to the entire U.S., my grandparents in India were not informed directly. And through word of mouth, when my grandmother did find out, she was very emotional. She was crying, saying, "What happened to my Josh?" And with many family members sharing that, there's nothing wrong with this. This is normal. We love Josh. He's not ostracized by the community. In fact, he's a leader. She was then able to understand it better, have more conversations, and we have such a strong, loving relationship. So for those who are, really struggling grasping this, whether they're, a senior who this is a new topic for them, I really want to say just have conversations with those younger generations. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I thank you for asking your question today as well.
Yeah. So. Before I get to the next caller, Joshua, I also wanted to ask you, prior to the verdict of Section 377, many individuals back home in India and even over here in this part of the world as well, many youngsters, many individuals, they live in the shadow, they live in the closet, and they feel very depressed with what they are going through if the family, friends, relatives have not embraced them, accepted them the way they are.
Yeah.
What are the step forwards that you individuals take to face these challenges?
If you can repeat, what exactly?
So, what exactly you do to gain their confidence? Just
to help uplift the younger ones in the generation.
Exactly.
Sure. Hariqbal, do you want to answer this one?
Sure. Well,
I know you've worked with GLAD and Lambda, so.
Right, and I would say that I think Josh and I are both very lucky in that we came from loving, accepting families, and our coming out experience was we were very fortunate that our family supported us. A lot of youth, even today, aren't so lucky, and that's where I think a lot of the work that organizations such as Lakshya targeted towards. Largely towards Indian youth, and there's multiple organizations here. I've worked very closely with GLAD, with Lambda, as Josh mentioned, and the biggest message that we want to get out is that if a youth is going through something like this and they're questioning their sexuality and they don't feel like they have a supportive environment at home, you do have a strong support network. You do have a broader community that is there for you, that is there to answer questions. There, especially now with the internet and social media, we try to make these organizations as accessible as possible so that youth do not feel that they're struggling alone, and that there are many people who are there for you, who have been through these experiences, who are more than willing to talk to you. And if time permits, I'd be more than happy to leave contact information for some of those organizations.
Sure. Well, I guess once people Google that, there's enough information out over there. Yes. Well, we'll get on to the next caller and take the conversation forward. Thank you, meanwhile, Mrs. Sodi, for your call and being part of Focus Live. We'll get on to the next caller. Yes, you're live on Focus Live. Who's this and where are you calling us from?
Hi, my name is Kunal Lamba. I'm calling you from New York City, Brooklyn.
All right, Kunal, welcome to Focus Live. And what's your question for Hariqbal, Basi, and Joshua Patel?
All right, so I've been in this country for 10 years, and I came out to my parents like almost that time. I think that the Indians who came to this country, I'm talking about parents, the parents who came to this country in the 70s or 80s are still stuck with their values of the 70s and 80s. That is evident in the way they do things. That is very evident in many ways. But in the urban India, like Delhi and Bombay, has moved on. So I can do a comparison because I think some of my friends' parents are a little more conservative than my parents or my friends' parents in India. Right. Joshua Patel, who I personally know, is an exception. I don't know about Hariqbal Basi. He might be an exception, that's why he's here.
Yes.
But what do you guys think? By and large, don't you think that Indian parents in urban India are a little more advanced than Indian parents in America?
Yeah.
Or am I wrong?
All right, Kunal, thanks for your question. And in addition to what Kunal, if you want to stay with us, you can stay with us, or maybe our control room will, in meanwhile, work with the other callers. But in addition to what Kunal asked you the question, both of you, Hariqbal and Joshua, I also wanted to add to it. Yes, the verdict has come. Yes, the court has apologized for all these decades, for all these years, what happened with the LGBT community in India. It's decriminalized. But would that change the mindset of the people?
Well, yeah. Thank you, Kunal, for your question. I've never lived in India. I am very proud to have first cousins there and still roots, and my dad has businesses there, so I visit often. But that said, I can't speak what I believe if it's more urban and modern. But what I do gather from the Indian public is that there is so much acceptance. There's so many openly proud gay couples in Kunal's parents' generations, and being gay is sure, it's not as taboo, but there are notions of silence. deeply ingrained in our culture, where it's like, don't tell this person. We don't want to trouble them. Why bother your mother letting her know you're sick? We have these notions of silence, and we have this built-in culture of don't ask, don't tell, and that's what I observed. So that's one victory we have, just with 377 as well. We're not used to talking about these topics. Sex, as in general, is heterosexual or homosexual sex is taboo. So yeah, I would say it's a mixture of both. You have you have more modern mindsets, but then you also have notions of no one speaking up about it.
Right. Hariqbal, before I get into the break, real quick, if you could answer this question that, sometimes people stay in ignorance. Parents especially, they just don't want to accept the things the way they are.
Right.
And living in ignorance, what kind of repercussions have happened in the families that you know of, your any friends, relatives, any individuals from your community that you've seen that, it was, they were living in denial, and then by the time they accepted it, it was too late? Any of the cases that comes to your attention? Joshua, anything that comes to your mind?
I'm not sure I can think of a case where I personally know someone where that has happened, where their parents or their grandparents have denied it and then come to terms with it much later in life. I will say that, like, to echo a little bit what Joshua just said, that the Section 377 ruling, one of the preliminary victories with it is that we get to talk about it. Now it's a topic of conversation. It comes to the forefront. And I think it's the first step, just as it was in the U.S. I mean, if you think back to the U.S. in 2003, that's when Lawrence versus Texas was decided. That's really when the gay rights movement picked up momentum in the U.S., and by 2015 we had legal marriage. And I think that now that India has crossed that barrier of bringing about the conversation of gay rights, declaring that it is legal, so people aren't afraid to come out, so people can talk about it and be more open about it, that is the big step. That's the first step to cross, and a big one in the full. In achieving full equality, and going towards taking steps such as marriage equality and adoption for gay couples, etc. in India, and really to changing minds. I mean, legal victories. The gay rights movement had very little, comparatively speaking, very little support in 2003 in the U.S. It was after you were able to that movement was able to gain momentum after 2003, that public support also changed for gay rights. So I'm hopeful, and I do really think that will happen in India as well and help change parents' minds so that.
Okay. Yeah. All right, folks, it's time for another short commercial break. We'll be right back after these messages. Stay tuned and keep watching Focus Live.
This is not just any cruise. This is MSC Cruises, one of the largest cruise lines in the world, where every detail is beyond just ordinary. You won't walk on just any stairs. These steps are covered in Swarovski crystals. There's not just one performance to see. There's a different show every night. On an MSC cruise, you won't be served just any meal. You'll enjoy freshly prepared international cuisine, and you won't explore just any destination or experience just any ship. You'll cruise the Caribbean on the best new cruise ship, the revolutionary MSC Seaside. And now book a 7-night Caribbean cruise from only $509 per person and get free unlimited drinks. That's right, the drinks are on us, including wine, beer, mixed drinks, and more. Call MSC Cruises at 833-MSC Cruises. Visit msccruises.com or call your travel agent today.
Money is like life. You have to decide how to get the most from it. And just like life, every decision affects every other decision. The trick is making good decisions today, so you're ready for tomorrow when it comes. So we made you some simple free tools that let you see how what you do today will affect your tomorrow. So you can make smart choices about how to spend your money and your life. Personal Capital. Get to know your money.
Never miss a moment of the battle, the challenge, the fight for supremacy. Unimoney Asia Cup starts 15 September exclusively on Hotstar.
Palm Greens Club, key to happiness. Spread over 2 lakh square yards of area in Ahmedabad, Palm Greens Club brings to you an amazing NRI experience equipped with ultra-modern amenities like banquets, swimming pool, sports arena, and movie theater. You also get to stay 7 nights free every year. Exchange these 7 nights with world's biggest timeshare company, RCI, which has more than 4,500 resorts across the world. Membership to Palm Greens Club has zero maintenance fees. So what are you waiting for? Call on 848-250-6400 and book your membership today. Palm Greens Club, one membership, unlimited benefits.
Welcome back. You're watching Focus Live, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight on the program, we are talking about India's Supreme Court verdict, Section 377, also we are talking about LGBTQ equal rights here in US and in India, more so keeping the Indian American community, the South Asian community in perspective. My guests on the program are Joshua Patel, two New Yorkers actually. One is an activist, the other one is an attorney. My second guest is Hariqbal Basi. Once again, welcome to program, Joshua and Hariqbal. It does get tough to take phone calls and interact with individuals. I know there are many individuals waiting to interact with you, and they have their own perceptions, their own perspective. In day-to-day life, you must have interacted situations like this as well. And in your capacity, Joshua, I know that you do a lot of work to create the awareness. You do a lot of outreach work, participating at several events. You go to India, as you mentioned, that you work very closely with Prince Manavendra at Lakshya Trust. What are some of the activities that you carry out on behalf of Lakshya Trust over here in the United States?
Sure. So, we have a very large, vibrant South Asian LGBT community in New York, and we have so many different organizations. South Asian Lesbian Gay Association. We have Sholay parties. So we have those community builders. Those are there. So those who feel that their voice is visible. No, we are large. There's hundreds of us. But then, in addition, we I participate strictly in fundraising, building awareness, crowdfunding, and I want to get more into counseling and stuff, but that's really my main focus. So.
All right. Okay, cool. I guess we'll open up the phone calls again. The number to call us here in the studio is 732-650-1100. Yes, you're live on air. Who's this and where are you calling us from?
Hello?
Yes. Ma'am, welcome to Focus.
I'm going to finish this call because I don't see them. They're announcing my name or city or they let me talk to him.
Okay, may I know, ma'am, who's this? Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from New York.
Okay, are you the caller who called us earlier as well?
Yeah, I'm calling by myself.
Okay, all right, thank you, ma'am. All right, is there a follow-up question that you have for our guests in the studio today?
I'm trying to finish. I cannot hold it till, so many times. I hold it 27 minutes.
Okay, ma'am, I understand. There are a number of callers there, and I'm lucky. And I guess you're lucky that we got connected again. But please go ahead. What's your? Okay.
I was on the second time. Then I was told that I'm hanging on there, and my turn is there.
Okay, ma'am, go ahead. Let's not.
Okay. Now it's 28 minutes is there.
Okay, ma'am, go ahead. What's your question? What's your question for our guests?
I'm just talking to what he's telling the truth and what he's lying to come to this and try it on the TV for his own propaganda. I'm sorry, sir. I'm closing this call. Thank you so much. Bye.
All right. Thank you so very much. Well, that was, I guess, our caller's perspective. Let me ask you, both of you, for a Section 377, or when we talk about equal rights, institutions, when I say whether it is not just institutions, not just your fraternity, but let's say film industry, when they, the film stars, the kind of reactions, the statements that they gave, they tweeted. My question to you is, Hariqbal, that how empowered do you feel when individuals like Karan Johar, Rajkumar Rao, Manish Malhotra, many of these prominent actors, Sonam Kapoor, Amir Khan, you name it, everybody reacted on this situation, on when the declaration came out. How empowered do you feel with the support of Bollywood?
I think Bollywood definitely drives a lot of culture and social movements in India, and of course it's empowering. I mean, it's another sense of pride. I actually spent a summer in Bollywood while I was in law school with a producer who was working on a film, and I met so many industry people, and Bollywood, similar to Hollywood, there are a lot of LGBT people working in that industry who weren't necessarily completely openly out, but it was well known within the industry. And now I think that's part of the reason why you have so many people from the industry rejoicing, because they have been on the right side of they have been on the right side of this issue for a very long time because they personally know so many people and work with them, and now it's a sense of immense pride and that they can openly work and contribute to their full potential in the entertainment industry. And I think, and here being such big Bollywood fans ourselves, we're extremely thrilled to see that level of support pouring out of the industry.
All right, guys. There was so much more that I wanted to discuss with you, but we are out of time. But I want to thank you I want to thank you, both of you, for being part of Focus Live and sharing your thoughts, emotions, giving us insight about LGBTQ equal rights and Section 377. We'll hopefully have you back again in times to come, Joshua and Hariqbal. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's a wrap at Focus Live tonight. Tomorrow night, same time, same place, we'll be back with another guest, another topic, another episode of Focus Live. Until then, stay focused, stay blessed. Good night.
When was the time that you decided to be an actress?
And one fine day, they introduced me to a very good director called Kanti Madia.
Ji. One drama stands out in your journey. It's called Chitkar.
When I did Pratighat,
Ji.
कुछ लोगों ने उसमें से मेरा